Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kidmin Podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Conley. I'm so excited to be here with you. It is the week after Easter. Now, last week we started a kind of a brand new series all about baby dedication, but we're going to take a break. We're going to take 1 week off just to celebrate the amazing weekends that many of us had, celebrating Easter, putting on amazing opportunities and services for families and for kids. And so before we dive back into our regularly scheduled content, I want to take an episode just to talk about what this week might need to look like. And so I'm going to call this maybe like 5 things to do after Easter, or your post-Easter checklist. I hope Easter was amazing for you. I hope unbelievable things happen at your church. As I've been talking to leaders all across the country, it sounds like Easter was absolutely phenomenal. But Easter is now in the rear view mirror, and now we're looking towards what's next. Summer is rapidly approaching. So what could we, or maybe what should we do this week to maximize this week as we move beyond Easter and move towards what comes next? So this is just this is going to be a short podcast today, and I just want to unpack 5 things real quick of what maybe we should focus on this week. Okay, number 1. This week, we should be following up with families. There are several families who visited our churches this last weekend during our Easter services, Good Friday services, whenever you had services, and we need to intentionally follow up with them this week. Okay, you probably had a lot of first-time guests. Okay, families who came for the first time, and this is a time to text, to email, to send a postcard, to reach out, to connect with them, to thank them for coming, and let them know how wonderful it was to have them in our services, inviting them to what's next, inviting them to a conversation about your church, about your ministry, the different things that you offer for kids. And so take advantage of this week while it's still fresh in their heads and their hearts, and connect with these new families about your church and your kids' ministry. However, there's also another opportunity to reach out to families who haven't been in a long time. Easter and Christmas are those times when many families who loosely attend your church, and this is one of those times that they attend. And this is an opportunity to just connect with them in this moment. So run that report, look for a family who hasn't been there in 3, 4, 5 months, maybe since Christmas. And this weekend was the first time since then, maybe the first time since it turned 2026. Put together a communication plan, a postcard, a text message, a phone call, an email. Reach out. Let them know how good it was to see them there again. There's something really important in your retention process for families to feel seen, for them to feel remembered. So let's this week remember the families that we haven't seen in a while. Let us recognize the families who came for the first time and follow up, make some connections. Now's a great time to connect with these families and let them know how good it was to see them, and move them towards coming back for another visit, for signing up for camp or VBS or whatever it may be. So take some time to relationally connect with these new families. Okay. Number 2, it's time to follow up with some of your volunteers. You pulled off an epic Easter weekend, and it took amazing volunteers. Some volunteers you know and trust, maybe some new volunteers. Here's an opportunity. Listen, this week there's an opportunity to connect with every single one of your volunteers. I would say that every volunteer who served should get some kind of a personal connection from you. It could just be a text to say, hey, thank you so much for being here this weekend. It could be a card in the mail. It could be a digital gift card to get a coffee, or whatever it may be. Just make sure that this week doesn't go by where your volunteers don't feel seen and thanked for being there this weekend. I'd actually encourage a couple different types of communication to your volunteers this week. Probably a good general message or connection with all your volunteers. However, there's a few volunteers that you want to maybe connect with differently. You probably have some volunteers who might be your subs. They might be a brand new volunteer. Maybe it's a volunteer who signed up just to help for Easter. They've never done that before. Let's reach out to them a little separately. Connect with them. This is an opportunity to see how their experience was and invite them back to serve again. Let them know that there's a door open, that they can serve and make a difference. And so definitely connect with those volunteers with an invitation. And maybe it's to grab a coffee or to grab a meal together, have a conversation to talk about their experience and see if they might want to join a more regular schedule and join the team. The other volunteers that you need to connect with are those who went above and beyond. You probably have some volunteers who served every single service or almost every single service. I'd say anyone who served 2 services or more, this requires some special connection. Maybe it is that gift card, it's a handwritten note, it's something really intentional. But don't let this week go by without a personal connection to all your volunteers. This is your volunteers. They do it because they love it. They do it because you ask them to. But this is an opportunity to put a little change in the bank account to remind them how much they're loved, how much you care for them. And so definitely connect with them, reach out to them, and invest in them a little bit more. Okay? This next part, not relational at all. Okay, this next part is very logistical. Now's the opportunity to review and document your Easter 2026. Okay, here's an opportunity to answer all of these questions. What worked this year? Is there something that you did this year for Easter that, man, this was great. We're going to do this again. This is we're gonna keep. I want to make sure that we don't shift from this. This is really good. What didn't work this year? Maybe there's an activity. Maybe there's something special that you did this year that you haven't done in the past. Evaluate it. What didn't work? Okay. This might be a question for you as a leader. This might be a question for the team as you get the team together. Maybe asking some of your volunteers, what didn't work? What do we need to make sure that we don't do again? Is there anything that broke? There's something related to check-in, to an activity, to a game, to worship. What broke? What should have worked but didn't? Or is there anything that we should never do this again? Hey, it's good to take risk. It's good to try new things, but sometimes we learn of what not to do. Let's write these things down, make a list. This only needs to take 15, 20, 30 minutes. If you got an opportunity to gather with your team or to send some messages out to some of your key volunteers, invite them to speak into this process as well. Create a form asking these same questions, collect that information, put it into a document, store it in your share drive, your 2027 Easter planning document, drive, wherever you keep these things. So that way, as you begin to prepare for Easter 2027, this is the first thing that you read. Okay? Number 4. It's time to be really intentional about the next 6 to 8 weeks. Now, depending on where you're watching this podcast or where you're listening to this podcast, summer begins pretty soon, okay? For some of you, maybe if you live in the South, your summer begins right before June or right at the beginning of June. Some of you, your summer doesn't begin until near the end of June. But regardless, we are 6 to 10 weeks away from summer, okay? There's a lot of things that need to happen in the next 6 to 10 weeks as a Kidmin leader. Okay, let's be really intentional about this time. Let's not react. Let's not go into this without a plan. So maybe some of it is connected to wrapping up the Easter weekend well, the follow-up that needs to happen, some of the connections that need to be made. But then it's also looking at what's coming ahead with summer camp, with VBS, with whatever mission trips, whatever things are coming up. There's some communication, there's registrations, there's planning, there's volunteer recruiting, all kinds of things. So how do we pace these things out? Are these things already scheduled on our calendar of when these things need to start? Because we don't want to get another 4 weeks down the line, another 6 weeks down the line, and we haven't gotten as far as we need to be. So this week is a good opportunity to look forward to the calendar and be as intentional as possible with the things that are right around the corner. Okay, so don't let this next 6 to 8 weeks. Let's not drift. Let's not fall into a passive stance, but let's be intentional and aggressive about this season, because at the end of the season, kids are graduating to the next grade. Kids are moving to the next ministry. Amazing summer events are happening. Let's be prepared for what's right around the corner. And last one, number 5, and this one might be the most important. This is an opportunity for you and me to personally reset. Okay. The last 3 or 4 weeks have likely been really busy. Okay. You've had a lot of work to do to get ready for Easter, to get ready for all these services, to recruiting, all the things. And maybe you need to take it easy for a week or for 2 weeks. Slow your pace down. If things have gotten out of order, things have gotten hurried in your relationship with others, your relationship with God, your relationship with your team, this next week or 2 or 3 is a great time to reset, get things where they need to be. You are approaching the busiest season of the ministry year. It's not too far from now, and you're going to be running ragged and running quick and running fast. The next 8 to 10 weeks is a great opportunity to pace yourself, make investments in you, make investments in your family, make investments in your team, so that way you're ready for a busy summer. And summer doesn't take you for a loop, but you are ready for it and you're ready to approach that. Okay? These are the 5 things that I think would be really helpful in this week. Let's take advantage of this amazing weekend that we have. Let's celebrate what God has done. Let's wrap this weekend up well and look forward to the next couple months. I hope your Easter was amazing, but I hope the next season is really intentional and is really great for you as you prepare for the busiest season of our year. Okay, thanks so much for joining me today. Hopefully this was helpful and inspiring. We'll see you next week with another episode as we dive back into baby dedication, and we'll see you then.